All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Right now, the Nexus and I are currently long on Ethereum. Okay, I let everybody know yesterday, Raven and I are aggressively taking this long trigger on this ETH PO3. Wish me good luck. This was actually not the easiest trade to get into, but you know, I had a little tricks up my sleeve. So if you want me to go over this trade specifically, this trade setup, let me know in the comments down below. But I did actually lose 1% before hitting that 1%. I let everybody know on X that I did actually lose that 1%. Very high risk to reward trade. Obviously, the way that I trade is, you know, you either compromise your win rate or you compromise your risk to reward. In this case, I compromised my win rate. I had a 50% win rate on this overall idea, obviously netting a lot more than minus 1%. Okay. In this video, I want to go over USDT dominance. Since we're talking about Twitter, let me just say real quick, go follow me on X, guys, because I've been keeping you guys updated on this PO3. And I can't always come to YouTube quick enough to give you guys these updates. Okay. So obviously, if you come over to Discord, well, you might as well come over to Discord too. But if you come over to X, okay, you follow me, hit the notification bell, you'll see my updates, engage, and the more engagement I get, I want to grow on X. The more engagement I get, the more I'll keep you guys posted on USDT dominance, which is obviously what this update's going to be here as well. Okay, so go follow me on X if you haven't already done that. Let's talk about USDT dominance. Okay, so I think it's been pretty undeniable that we've had literally every single move to a T. Okay, we've talked about this PO3 idea in a previous video. Okay, I will link the series down in the description down below. If you haven't seen that, you're probably going to need to know it. But this is what I have drawn out on USDT dominance, something like this. So I told you guys that I'm long. I am looking to flip short. I don't know if I'm going to be shorting yet. Okay, so I don't want you guys to come back tomorrow and be like, huh, it went way higher. How's your shorts going? No, okay, I'm not shorting yet. I am looking for shorts and I am looking for something like this. Okay, and I want to just go over it real quick, just to recap. From a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago in the Nexus, we've been talking about this PO3 idea. Okay, kind of the same PO3 that I took on Ethereum, right? But the inverse on USDT dominance. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about how we're going to dump. We've been talking about how euphoria begins here. We've been talking about how I speculate this is going to be a PO3 due to the liquidity. We are going to make a run here. This is going to be your euphoric expansion leg. We are going to consolidate here, form a inverse PO3, and then this is where the bear market begins. Okay, we've been talking about that for quite some time. Now, currently in its current state, as I've been updating you guys on on Twitter, which you should have followed me by now. If you haven't done that, go get another device or something. Ask your mother to borrow her phone, but go do that. Okay. I've been giving the updates, right? And this happened exactly how I drew it. So, you know, this is a thread. Okay, this is a thread. This is the first thing that I drew. It went perfectly. Look, hear me out. I drew it exactly prior to it happening. Okay, and now we're here. Okay, so what's the update on USDT now? And the long story short of it is, the first question is the PO3 confirmed yet? And do I think that we're out of the woods? And my answer is still no. Okay, my answer is still no. Now, the reason that I have this drawn out, which is my preferred scenario, is I don't think, and I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. So far, I haven't been wrong, but I could be wrong. I don't think that this manipulation is enough of a manipulation in terms of time, excuse me, to get that full rotation to the other side. I don't think the market has matured yet. I don't think the market is ready yet to get that move to the downside. Remember, guys, I'm not being biased, okay? I'm long right now on BTC, Doge, and ETH, okay? And Sol. I don't think that this is enough time based on the duration, right? If you look up here, this here is 72 days, so 2.5 months, 2 months, whatever. This is only 15 days. Or sorry, not even 15 days. We were only up here, excuse me, for 4 days. Okay, so there's kind of like a discrepancy between time here. So I don't like this idea. I much prefer the idea that we get a larger manipulation. And so because of the idea that we might get a larger manipulation, and because of the idea now that it's Uptober, and everybody's bullish all over again, once again, I think that it makes more sense to form a larger manipulation range, which might look like this. Okay, now Raven, shouts out to Raven, who is one of the Nexus traders in the Nexus, obviously, actually thinks that it will be more like this, where your range is extended like this. Your manipulation actually takes place up here, and then your expansion takes place like this. And that could also happen. Okay, that could also happen because this could simply just be an extension of the range. So we're not discrediting that idea, but that idea is interesting because that idea opens up the possibility that we haven't even began our manipulation phase. Okay, if we look on Bitcoin and a lot of the other cryptos, a lot of the other altcoins, if we look at Bitcoin specifically though, however, you can see that we have very poor lows. These were poor lows. This is poor lows, weekend lows as well. Poor lows, right? So we're generating a lot of liquidity to the downside amongst getting this move. Now you need to ask yourself, and remember, I'm not saying that this is going to happen or not going to happen or whatever the case is, okay? I'm not predicting anything, right? But you need to ask yourself, what was the point of them to send price all the way down, not sweep out any major liquidity, right? Like these are all internal liquidity points. Not sweep out any major liquidity, only to send price back up to the all-time high and beyond and blast off and get your banana zone. What are the odds of that? In my opinion, the odds are relatively slim. Now, could it happen and could I be wrong? 100%. And if I am wrong, well, the joke's on not me because I'm long right now. So it's not even a problem. But in my opinion, this doesn't really make sense to do that. Okay. I am looking for backtest longs still. I am looking for, you know, if I see signs of strength and continue signs of strength, then sure. But if I see weakness, then I'm going to short it because I know that this scenario, in my opinion, is not the most probable scenario to have this be my manipulation right now. And again, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. And I'm okay to be wrong. I'm totally okay with that. I've been wrong before, okay? But right now, I like the idea of this being an extended manipulation. I don't need it to go as far as Raven's manipulation, where this is the whole range, and then we get the manipulation up here. I don't need that. Looking at it now, I kind of do prefer it. Okay, maybe we actually form our manipulative range up here, upwards of like 5%, give or take. Right? But I don't need it to do that. For me, it's more about time than distance. Okay. And so this idea is still very much in the works. I am very much so looking for shorts, looking for, not taking, and I'm still in my longs. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I'll say my line in the sand for this idea to have completely played out and this like PO3 idea to be confirmed, I would say is probably going to be this zone here, which is between 4.29% and 4.34%. Okay. And the reason why is simply just structure based. Okay. You can see very clearly that we have all these ugly lows, which is what we want, right? We want these ugly lows because that gives us, that opens the door for the PO3, right? If you have liquidity, as you can see by my liquidity curve, that opens the door to get a fast move like this because this is easily recovered, right? So this is really, in my opinion, the last zone that you can bounce from because your structure was down, up, and break. And this was what I will call my nexus zone. Okay, because this is the sell to the buy that not only caused this internal break, but it also caused this break over here. So to me, between 4.34% and 4.3%, give or take, okay, you can wick it out and whatever, but give or take, this general zone is going to be my line in the sandbox line. Whereas if we start to get serious candle closes or serious aggression to the downside, then that means A, the market's going to pump, which is good for us because we're long. But B, that this is likely not going to hold and we are likely going to start sweeping some of these lows. And the moment we start to sweep some of these lows is when I'm going to say that this is a confirmed PO3. Because the idea of the PO3 is that this is your manipulation, induce traders into thinking that the high in USDT's case is in, okay, or the low is in on the market and then rinse it the other way. Okay, so that is kind of what I'm looking at right now. There are a couple of zones that we may bounce from prior to this. Right here, you have nothing but inefficiency, nothing but a big fair value gap. And we actually do have a little stopping point. This is like more of the scalping stuff, but we actually do have a little stopping point right here, okay, which we're in right now. That's not a nexus zone, but we're in that right now. So I am actually looking for reversal here. If we don't get the reversal here, that is completely okay. In that case, I'm looking for the reversal potentially down to 4 point whatever percent. And if we don't get that, then no problem because I'm already long, you know, send it to all-time high and above. I'm totally cool with that. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I'm not opposed to the idea of having an extended PO3. So this story might take a little bit longer than most are hoping for and expecting. And in my opinion, anyway, this just makes more sense. It doesn't make sense to me to manipulate a 2-month, 72-day range, manipulate it for 3 days only, and then rotate to the complete opposite side. It just doesn't make sense to me. Could it play out? Yes. If it does, I'm already long. Don't really care. But it just doesn't really make sense to me. And so, yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Make sure to follow me on X as indicated in the intro. And if you would like to trade alongside me and in the Nexus, consider joining the Nexus. Enter thenexus.com. Links in the description down below. And if you want to trade on the #1 exchange, which I'm the one that put everyone on, by the way. I was the first one on KSEX. The link for that is also in the description down below. Okay, I do earn commissions from your trades. However, it is to no additional cost to yourselves, and it is a free way for you to support me. And I really appreciate the love. I really appreciate the support. God bless everybody. Trade safe, be good, stay happy, stay healthy, stay wealthy, and I will see you guys in the next video.